Hello, and welcome to the Rankin Report for Sunday, February the 23rd, 2025. Thank you for joining me today as we sit here and come out of the deep freeze that has ripped a whole lot of the nation. From the book of Judges, chapter 8, verses 4 through 9. When Gideon and his 300 men, exhausted yet keeping up the pursuit, came to the Jordan and crossed it, he said to the men of Succoth, "Give my troops some bread. They are worn out, and I am still pursuing Zebah and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian." But the officials of Succoth said, "Do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your troops?" Then Gideon replied, "Just for that, when the Lord has given Zebah and Zalmunna into my hand, I will tear your flesh with desert thorns and briars." From there he went up to Peniel and made the same request of them, but they answered as the men of Succoth had. So he said to the men of Peniel, "When I return in triumph, I will tear down this tower." This is what the Lord, the God of the United States, says. Just as there were Israelites who would not go out to support my anointed and chosen servant Gideon, so there are those who believe in me that will not support my anointed and chosen servant today. False teachings and lies from the enemy have so blinded the people that they cannot tell my voice from Satan's. In Gideon's time, this led to the destruction of the towns that would not come out for him. Today, this will lead to judgment on those shepherds and churches that will not support or will actively work against the president I have given you back. Fearful of the opinions of men and the loss of their donations, they forget that I am Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide. It is your choice whether to join the spiritual battle that is at hand or remain behind closed doors. All of David's men came out to pursue the Amalekites after they raided Ziklag and took their wives and children prisoner. Even the ones who halted from exhaustion and stayed as a forward base to guard the supplies still came out with David and shared in the final victory. Excuse me. Come out, you who say you are called by my voice, and support those who I have raised up for battle. Anything of this earth that you lose, I can multiply greatly, so that those who fear you will be astonished at what my believers gain back. The fight is on, and it will grow more intense in the coming days. But my servant and his advisors will triumph in my name, and America will be saved. Do not be as those who hide behind locked doors, as if I am limited in my power. If you limit yourself, you will be limited. But those who boldly join the battle with me will share in my triumph. The cities that refused to help Gideon feared retaliation if the rebellion against the Midianites failed. Israel had come under the domination of Midian because of Israel abandoning the Lord in worshiping other gods. For 7 years, he permitted Midian to dominate the nation so severely that they left nothing for Israel, no food, livestock, shelter, anything of value. All of these were denied the Israelites. So when God raised up Gideon to deliver Israel, they were afraid to poke the bear, as it were, until Gideon had the evidence that the Midianite kings were already defeated. But God was giving those cities a chance to support him and his servant. And Gideon was not what you would consider your first choice to lead an army. When the angel of the Lord found Gideon, he was threshing wheat in secret to keep it from the Midianites. And when Gideon was given the mission, he tested the Lord not once but twice, then destroyed the altar of Baal, but again in secret. But God was patient with his mighty, if initially reluctant, warrior, and Gideon pressed the battle after God started the attack. Today, we have pastors who have forgotten their heritage as what was once called in history by the enemies of America, the Black Robe Regiment. This was a phrase that was used as a derogatory term by British troops, but the Americans took it up and used it. When the colonies were confronted with the unbiblical practices of King George III, colonial pastors, trained in the doctrine of the Puritans, concluded that king and commoner were alike under the law of God. Thus, when a king acts contrary to the law of God and oppresses the people, he in essence unkings himself. It was the same as if he took off his crown and abdicated the throne. Many of today's pastors chose to submit to their churches being declared non-essential meeting places, as opposed to strip joints and liquor stores, and to laws limiting what they could preach from their pulpits. And even before those ridiculous decrees were implemented, they failed to preach the gospel, calling people to turn from their sins back to God. They feared the hand of government, which had shown itself ready to oppress boat rockers, as it were, and they still fear offending people into taking their bodies from their pews and their wallets from the collection plate. But those who cried out to God, God sent relief in the form of a man who, again, might not be your first pick for president. And I get it. Donald Trump is far from perfect. None of us are perfect. Hello? For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. But after being tried in the fire for 8 years, constantly hounded by political and media opponents, false charges filed in the Congress and the courts by crooked prosecutors and judges, at least 2 failed assassination attempts, President Trump is back in the presidency with a vengeance. He doesn't care anymore, and he don't play. And he is looking to pull back the discriminatory policies levied against the church. The problem is, what the president can do is limited by the Constitution. But that document, based in Scripture and in Puritan doctrine, does not properly work unless the people are part of the covenant the founders made with God when the nation began. As John Adams himself noted, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. The chains are falling off the church as God removes them. And now denominations, bishops, and pastors are being called to a choice: work to help spread the Great Awakening or be left behind. God offers us a chance to work for Him and with Him, regardless of what capacity that work happens to take place in, regardless of what He calls you to do. Join the battle. Leave yourself open to be amazed at what the Lord does. If you truly love the Lord, open yourself to Him and say, "Here I am. What would you have me do?" If you truly love your country, then it's time to fight on your knees and intercede with God that the conditions by which the Constitution would be fully effective would be set in place. In short, that the Great Awakening would spread. Don't limit yourself. This is what we've been praying for. Let's roll. Pray for the Great Awakening. No king but Jesus. Independence forever. That's the Rankin Report for Sunday, February the 23rd, 2025. Don't forget to hit the like or share buttons or both, and the subscription button if you want to see more of these videos. Don't forget to pray for the people who've lost their homes and loved ones in the fires in California and the results of Hurricane Helene in Tennessee, North Carolina, and Florida. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Have a great day.